Our planet, this extraordinary blue marble suspended in the vastness of space, is a tapestry of breathtaking landscapes, from the shimmering ice caps of the poles to the vibrant, teeming life of the equatorial rainforests. Earth offers an endless display of wonder and beauty. For millennia, humanity has been driven by an insatiable curiosity to explore every corner, to chart the unknown, and to witness these marvels firsthand. We are, by our very nature, explorers, drawn to the horizons that lie just beyond our reach. Yet amidst this splendor, there are corners of our world where nature's power is untamed and its forces are simply too formidable for us to conquer. These are places of extreme conditions, of hidden dangers, and of an unforgiving wildness that commands respect from a distance. They are landscapes of stark, and often lethal, beauty, where the very air can be poisonous, the ground can tremble without warning, and the inhabitants, both great and small, have evolved to survive in ways that make human presence an unwelcome and often fatal intrusion. These are not destinations for the casual tourist or even the seasoned adventurer. They are nature's fortresses, reminders of our own fragility in the face of a planet that is, in parts, still profoundly wild and untamable. They hold secrets and stories, but to seek them out is to court disaster. Here, we will journey to them from the safety of our screens. Here are the 15 most dangerous places on Earth. Off the coast of Brazil, some 90 miles from the bustling metropolis of São Paulo, lies a small, unassuming island. Its official name is Ilha da Queimada Grande, but it is known to the world by a far more ominous title, Snake Island. From a distance, it appears as a verdant paradise, its rocky shores giving way to lush, tropical forest. But this idyllic facade conceals a terrifying reality, one that has led the Brazilian government to forbid any human from setting foot on its soil. The island is the exclusive home of the golden lancehead pit viper, one of the most venomous snakes on the planet. Isolated from the mainland thousands of years ago as sea levels rose, these serpents evolved differently from their continental cousins. With no ground-level prey, they adapted to hunt the migratory birds that rested in the treetops. To ensure their meal didn't fly away after being bitten, their venom became astonishingly potent, up to 5 times stronger than that of their mainland relatives, capable of melting human flesh and causing a swift, agonizing death. Scientists estimate the population density to be as high as 1 snake per square meter in some areas. The thought alone is the stuff of nightmares. The last lighthouse keeper and his family who lived there met a grim fate, and today, the lighthouse is automated. Only the bravest, most well-protected researchers with special government permission dare to visit this island. It remains a terrifying, slithering kingdom ruled entirely by its deadly inhabitants, a living laboratory of evolution that we can only observe from afar. In the heart of Sumatra, Indonesia, stands a colossal monument to the Earth's raw, explosive power, Mount Sinabung. For centuries, this giant slept, a silent green-clad peak that gave little hint of the fury that lay dormant within. The local Karo people lived in its shadow, farming the fertile volcanic soils, their lives intertwined with the mountain's peaceful presence. But in 2010, after 400 years of silence, Sinabung awoke with a terrifying roar. Since that initial eruption, the volcano has entered a new, highly active and unpredictable phase. It has become one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, spewing vast columns of ash and gas miles into the atmosphere, often with very little warning. These dramatic plumes are followed by something even more terrifying: pyroclastic flows. These are superheated avalanches of gas, ash and rock, moving at hurricane speeds and incinerating everything in their path. Entire villages have been buried, and thousands of residents have been permanently displaced. The Indonesian government has established a large exclusion zone around the volcano, a no-go area where life has been suspended. Yet, the danger persists. The mountain continues to rumble, to swell, and to erupt, a constant, menacing reminder of the geological forces that shape our planet. For the people who once called its slopes home, it is a source of both life-giving soil and devastating destruction, a powerful deity that can no longer be trusted. It is a place of profound and active danger, off-limits to all but the volcanologists who monitor its every tremor. There is a stretch of the North Atlantic Ocean, its corners loosely defined by Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, that has captured the human imagination like few other places on Earth. It is not marked on any official map, yet it is known the world over as the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, it has been the subject of countless books, documentaries, and whispered tales of mystery and dread. It is a place where ships and aircraft have seemingly vanished without a trace. The legend began in earnest in the mid-20th century, fueled by the unexplained disappearance of Flight 19 in 1945. 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers on a routine training mission flew into the area and were never seen or heard from again. The rescue plane sent to find them also vanished. Since then, an unsettling number of other vessels and aircraft have been added to the list of the Triangle's supposed victims. Their disappearance is often marked by a sudden loss of communication and a complete lack of wreckage. Skeptics and scientists offer rational explanations for these incidents. The area is known for its volatile and unpredictable weather, including sudden violent storms and waterspouts. The Gulf Stream can create treacherous currents, and the ocean floor here is incredibly deep, making the recovery of any wreckage exceedingly difficult. Some theories even point to rogue waves or large underwater releases of methane gas that could reduce the water's density and sink a ship in moments. And yet, despite these logical possibilities, the mystery endures. The Bermuda Triangle remains a powerful symbol of the unknown, a chilling reminder that even in our modern, well-charted world, the ocean can still swallow us whole, leaving no answers behind. In the stark, sun-scorched landscape of northern Tanzania, near the Kenyan border, lies a body of water that looks as if it belongs on another planet. This is Lake Natron. Its shallow waters often have a haunting reddish hue, a result of the salt-loving microorganisms that thrive in its unique chemistry. But beneath this strange beauty lies a deadly secret. Lake Natron is one of the most caustic bodies of water on Earth, a veritable lake of fire for most living things. The lake is fed by mineral-rich hot springs and a river, but it has no outlet. The intense heat of the Great Rift Valley causes water to evaporate rapidly, leaving behind extremely high concentrations of salt and minerals, particularly sodium carbonate, the same chemical the ancient Egyptians used for mummification. The water's alkalinity can reach a pH level of over 10.5, almost as high as ammonia. This is an environment so harsh that it can strip the ink from printed materials and cause severe burns to the skin and eyes of unadapted animals. The most chilling aspect of Lake Natron is what happens to the creatures that are unfortunate enough to die in its waters. The high sodium carbonate content acts as a remarkable preservative, calcifying their bodies and leaving them as ghostly, stone-like statues. Birds that have crashed into its deceptively reflective surface have been found washed ashore, perfectly preserved in their final moments. It is a natural graveyard, beautiful and terrifying, where life is turned to stone, a silent, macabre gallery sculpted by chemistry and time. In the Mojave Desert of California lies a place with a name that serves as a stark and accurate warning: Death Valley. It is a land of superlatives, a basin of extremes. It holds the record for the highest air temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth, a staggering 56.7 degrees Celsius, or 134 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not just a place that is hot, it is a place where the heat itself is a tangible, oppressive force that can kill. The valley's unique geography is the architect of this brutal climate. It is a long, narrow basin, lying 86 meters below sea level, flanked by high, steep mountain ranges. The sun beats down, heating the valley floor, and the hot air rises. But it becomes trapped by the mountains, cools, and sinks back down into the valley, only to be heated again in a relentless cycle. This creates a superheated furnace effect, where even the slightest exertion can lead to dehydration, heat stroke, and death. Despite its name and its fearsome reputation, life, in its most resilient forms, does exist here. Wildflowers can carpet the valley floor after rare winter rains, and hardy creatures like the desert tortoise and the coyote have adapted to survive the extremes. For humans, however, it remains one of the most inhospitable places in North America. To venture into its vast, silent expanse during the summer months without immense preparation, carrying vast quantities of water and respecting the lethal power of the sun, is to gamble with one's life. It is a landscape of profound, desolate beauty, but one that offers no mercy. In the northern reaches of Africa's Great Rift Valley, spanning parts of Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti, lies a landscape that can only be described as infernal. This is the Danakil Desert, often called the Gateway to Hell. It is one of the lowest, driest, and hottest places on the planet, a geological wonderland that is at the same time profoundly hostile to human life. Here the Earth's crust is being torn apart, and the evidence of this violent process is everywhere. The landscape is a psychedelic canvas of vibrant, unnatural colors. Hydrothermal fields bubble with acid, sulfur, and salt, creating spectacular formations of yellow, green, and orange. The air is thick with the suffocating stench of chlorine and sulfur gases, which are poisonous to breathe. The ground itself is a mosaic of salt flats, active volcanoes, and lava lakes, with ground temperatures that can soar high enough to boil water. It is a place that feels more alien than terrestrial, a window into the planet's primordial volcanic past. For the Afar people, who have called this brutal region home for centuries, survival is a daily struggle. They navigate this treacherous terrain to mine salt, hacking blocks from the dried-up lakebeds and transporting them by camel caravan, a trade that has continued for generations. But for outsiders, the Danakil is fraught with peril. The extreme heat, the toxic gases, and the sheer remoteness of the region make it one of the most dangerous and inaccessible environments imaginable. It is a place of terrible beauty where the earth is still being born in fire and poison. High in the remote Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia's far east, at the foot of the Kikpinik volcano, lies a place known locally as Dolina Smrti, the Valley of Death. This small valley, only about 2 kilometers long and just a few hundred meters wide, has a really sinister reputation. It's a natural death trap, a place where animals, from tiny rodents to massive bears, wander in and are never seen alive again. Their perfectly preserved bodies actually litter the landscape. The killer here is invisible, silent, and completely odorless. A geological fault deep beneath the valley floor releases this deadly cocktail of volcanic gases, mainly hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. Since these gases are heavier than air, they just don't dissipate. Instead, they sort of accumulate in the low-lying valley, forming a toxic, invisible pool, especially during calm weather. Any animal that descends into this pocket of poisoned air is quickly overcome. The lack of oxygen and the presence of those toxic gases cause asphyxiation. The creatures simply lie down and die, often with no sign of a struggle. The same volcanic chemistry that kills them also preserves them. The gases inhibit the normal process of bacterial decay, leaving the bodies eerily intact for long periods. This grim collection of animal remains serves as a stark warning. While beautiful from the surrounding hills, the valley itself is a forbidden zone, a place where the very air is a lethal poison, just waiting patiently for its next victim. Nestled in the upper Amazon River basin in Bolivia, Madidi National Park is, on the surface, a paradise of biodiversity. It's actually one of the most ecologically diverse places on Earth, stretching from the glacier-capped peaks of the Andes down to the humid, tropical rainforests of the Tuichi River. The park is just teeming with life, a vibrant explosion of flora and fauna, much of which is still being discovered by scientists. But, this incredible richness of life comes with an equal measure of danger. Everything in Madidi, it seems, is out to get you. It's not just one single threat, but a relentless assault from all sides. The jungle is home to some of the most aggressive and venomous snakes, spiders, and ants in the world. Even just brushing against certain plants can cause severe rashes, itching, and dizziness. The smallest cut or insect bite can become dangerously infected in the hot, humid environment, leading to tropical diseases, for which there may be no immediate cure. Perhaps the most insidious dangers are the ones you can't even see. The forest is just rife with deadly parasites and pathogens. You can contract leishmaniasis from the bite of a sandfly, a disease that can literally eat away at the flesh. Fungi and bacteria thrive here, ready to invade any opening in the skin. An expedition that set out to catalog the park's species found that nearly every member was afflicted by some ailment. It's a place where every plant, every insect, every drop of water must be treated with extreme caution. Madidi is a stunning example of nature's fecundity, but it's also a powerful reminder that in the wildest places, we are not predators, but prey. Deep beneath the Chihuahuan Desert in northern Mexico, a discovery was made in the year 2000 that honestly seemed to belong in a fantasy novel. Miners, excavating a new tunnel nearly 300 meters below the surface, broke into a cavern of just unimaginable beauty. This was the Cueva de los Cristales, the Cave of Crystals. It's a geological marvel, a chamber filled with colossal milky white crystals of selenite, a form of gypsum. Some of these crystalline beams are the largest ever found on Earth, reaching over 11 meters in length and weighing up to 55 tons. The sight is absolutely breathtaking, like an underground cathedral of shimmering translucent pillars. But this otherworldly beauty is guarded by an environment that is utterly lethal to humans. The cave is situated directly above a magma chamber, which heats the cavern to an unbearable temperature of around 58 degrees Celsius, or 136 degrees Fahrenheit. The air isn't just hot, it's saturated with 90 to 99% humidity. This combination is far deadlier than dry heat. In these conditions, the human body's main cooling mechanism, sweating, just doesn't work. The air is so full of moisture that sweat can't evaporate from the skin. Instead, a person will rapidly overheat, their core body temperature rising to fatal levels. Furthermore, the hot, humid air can actually condense inside the lungs, effectively leading to drowning. Even with specialized protective suits and breathing apparatus, researchers can only survive inside the cave for a mere 10 minutes at a time. The Cave of Crystals is a treasure of the natural world, but it's one that we can only glimpse, lest we be cooked from the inside out. In the vast blue expanse of the Pacific Ocean, the Bikini Atoll appears as a picture-perfect tropical paradise. A ring of 23 islands encircles a turquoise lagoon, with white sandy beaches and swaying palm trees. It is the image of tranquility. But this serene beauty masks a dark and poisoned history. Between 1946 and 1958, this idyllic spot was the stage for one of the most destructive chapters of the Cold War. It was a nuclear testing ground for the United States. A total of 23 nuclear devices were detonated at, on, or above Bikini Atoll. The most powerful of these was the Castle Bravo test in 1954. This hydrogen bomb was 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The explosion vaporized 3 islands, carved a 2-kilometer-wide crater in the lagoon floor, and sent a plume of radioactive fallout drifting across the Pacific. The native islanders who had been relocated were told they could one day return. That promise was broken. Today, more than 60 years later, the atoll remains dangerously radioactive. While the background radiation in some areas has decreased, the soil and the local food supply, coconuts, crabs, and fruit, are still heavily contaminated with cesium-137. Consuming these foods would lead to a dangerous accumulation of radioactive material in the body. The wrecks of battleships, sunk during the initial tests, litter the lagoon floor, attracting dive tourism. But visitors are warned not to stay long and to eat no local food. Bikini Atoll is a ghost paradise, a haunting monument to humanity's capacity for self-destruction. On the island of Java in Indonesia, the Kawah Ijen volcano complex offers one of the most surreal and perilous spectacles on Earth. By day, it is a stunning sight, a 1-kilometer-wide caldera holding a placid-looking turquoise-colored lake. But this is no ordinary lake. It is the world's largest acidic crater lake, a bubbling cauldron of hydrochloric and sulfuric acid, with a pH similar to that of battery acid. Any contact with the water would cause immediate, severe chemical burns. The true danger and strangeness of Kawah Ijen are revealed at night. Deep within the crater, superheated sulfuric gases escape from cracks in the rock. When this gas hits the air, it ignites, burning with an eerie electric blue flame. As the gas condenses, it forms rivers of molten sulfur, which also glow with this otherworldly blue light as they flow down the mountain, eventually cooling into bright yellow deposits. This natural phenomenon is both mesmerizing and incredibly toxic. This hellish environment is also a workplace. Local miners descend into the crater, often with minimal protection, perhaps only a wet cloth over their mouths, to hack out chunks of the cooled sulfur. They carry heavy baskets weighing up to 90 kilograms back up the steep crater rim, all while enveloped in choking clouds of sulfur dioxide gas. This gas burns the eyes and throat and can cause severe long-term respiratory damage. The miner's life expectancy is tragically short. Kawah Ijen is a place of haunting beauty, but it is a beauty born from poison, and for those who work there, it is a daily dance with death. Mount Everest, the highest peak on our planet, represents one of humanity's greatest challenges, a symbol of ultimate achievement. For climbers, reaching its summit is a lifelong dream. But above 8,000 meters, a height known chillingly as the death zone, the mountain ceases to be a mere physical challenge and becomes an actively hostile environment, a place where the human body simply begins to die. At this extreme altitude, The air pressure is so low that there is only about a third of the oxygen available at sea level. This is not enough to sustain human life. Without supplementary oxygen, a climber's cognitive function rapidly deteriorates, judgment becomes impaired, coordination fails, and hallucinations can set in. The body, starved of oxygen, begins to break down. The risk of frostbite, hypothermia, and deadly high-altitude sicknesses like haze and HAPE, swelling of the brain and fluid in the lungs, becomes acute. The death zone is a landscape littered with reminders of its unforgiving nature. The bodies of climbers who have perished there often remain, frozen in time, as grim landmarks on the route to the summit. Rescue at this altitude is nearly impossible. The weather is volatile and extreme, with hurricane-force winds and temperatures that can plummet in an instant. Every moment spent in the death zone is a roll of the dice. It is the very edge of the habitable world, a place that pushes the human body past its absolute limits and offers no second chances. In the Bay of Bengal, part of the Andaman Islands archipelago, lies a small, densely forested island called North Sentinel. It is a place that remains one of the last true mysteries of our interconnected world. The island is home to the Sentinelese people, an indigenous tribe who have lived in complete isolation for an estimated 60,000 years. They have rejected, often violently, all contact with the outside world. Very little is known about the Sentinelese, their language, their culture, their rituals. All remain a mystery. What is known has been gleaned from a distance, from boats anchored far offshore. They are a hunter-gatherer society, using bows and arrows to hunt and crafting simple outrigger canoes for fishing in the shallow lagoon. They have been observed fending off helicopters and boats with hails of arrows, making it clear that visitors are not welcome. Their hostility is not born of malice, but of a desire to protect their way of life. The Indian government, recognizing the tribe's vulnerability and their clear wish to be left alone, has declared the entire island and its surrounding waters an exclusion zone. It is illegal to approach within 5 nautical miles. This policy serves 2 purposes. It protects outsiders from the Sentinelese's predictable hostility, and more importantly, it protects the Sentinelese from us. Having had no contact with the outside world, they have no immunity to common diseases like the flu or measles. A single virus could wipe out their entire population. North Sentinel Island is a rare and precious human sanctuary, a place frozen in time that must be left untouched. On March 11, 2011, a massive undersea earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered a devastating tsunami. The towering waves overwhelmed the sea walls of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, flooding the facility and disabling its cooling systems. This led to a catastrophic series of events: 3 nuclear meltdowns and hydrogen explosions that released massive amounts of radioactive material into the environment. It was the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. In the aftermath, the Japanese government established a large exclusion zone around the stricken plant, forcing the evacuation of over 150,000 residents. They left with what little they could carry, expecting to return in a few days. For most, that return has never happened. Today, the Fukushima exclusion zone is a collection of ghost towns, frozen in the moment of their abandonment. Cars sit in driveways, bicycles lie where they fell, and calendars remain fixed on March 2011. Nature is slowly reclaiming these empty spaces, but an invisible threat lingers. Radiation hotspots remain, and the long-term effects of the contamination are still being studied. The cleanup of the power plant itself is a monumental and perilous task, expected to take decades. The zone is a silent, eerie testament to the precarious balance between human technological ambition and the overwhelming power of nature. It is a modern ruin, a landscape poisoned not by geology or ancient curses, but by our own creations. On April 26, 1986, a flawed reactor design and inadequately trained personnel at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Soviet Ukraine led to a catastrophic steam explosion and fire. Reactor number 4 was blown apart, releasing a plume of highly radioactive fallout into the atmosphere that drifted over vast areas of Europe. It remains the worst nuclear disaster in history, a name that has become synonymous with the terrifying potential of atomic energy gone wrong. In the immediate aftermath, a 30-kilometer exclusion zone was established, and the entire city of Pripyat, a model Soviet city built to house the plant's workers and their families, was evacuated. Its 50,000 residents were told they would be gone for 3 days. They never returned. Today, Pripyat is a ghost city, an icon of the nuclear age. Its decaying apartment blocks, empty schools with scattered books, and the rusting Ferris wheel of its never-opened amusement park create a profoundly melancholic and unsettling landscape. The zone is still one of the most radioactive places on Earth. The remains of Reactor 4 are now encased in a massive steel confinement structure, but the surrounding forests and soil are deeply contaminated. Despite the lingering radiation, wildlife has returned in surprising abundance. Wolves, bears, and wild horses roam the empty streets, creating a paradoxical, radioactive wilderness. The Chernobyl exclusion zone is a chilling memorial to human error and a powerful, haunting lesson about the long-lasting consequences of our mistakes, a legacy that will endure for thousands of years. Our journey to these 15 locations has taken us to the very limits of our world and our own endurance. We have witnessed the creative and destructive power of nature in its most extreme forms, from the molten heart of the Earth to the silent, invisible threat of radiation. These are places that inspire a profound sense of awe, a deep respect for the forces that have shaped and continue to shape our planet. They are beautiful, terrifying, and utterly indifferent to our survival. These destinations are not entries on a bucket list. They are powerful stories and stern warnings. They remind us of the fragility of life and the hubris of believing that we have conquered the wild. They show us that there are still frontiers we cannot cross, mysteries we cannot solve, and powers we cannot tame. Exploring them from afar allows us to appreciate their majesty without paying the ultimate price, to learn from them without becoming another one of their victims. The world is vast and filled with wonders, many of which we can and should explore. But it is the knowledge of places like these that gives us a more complete and more humble perspective of our place within it. They are the untamable heart of our planet, beating with a rhythm of fire and ice, poison and pressure. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this exploration as fascinating as I did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more adventures into the known and the unknown.